You know, I've been hearing about and reading a lot about the crimes that men commit. So I decided that this week we would just read books about unhinged women. Because what crimes are the girlitas committing? I have two books here that I believe fit the theme very well. The first being Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. This book is about Camille Preaker, who is a reporter sent back to her hometown to investigate the murders of two young girls. While investigating these very odd and gruesome murders, she also has to contend with her strained relationship with her family, consisting of her neurotic, hypochondriac mother and her beautiful 13-year-old half-sister that has this weird, eerie grip on the town. The second book that we're going to read is Eileen by Ottessa Moshfegh. I haven't read anything by Moshfegh to completion. I started my year of rest and relaxation like 2 years ago, but as a depressed person, I had to stop because it was just giving me a lot of really good ideas. No, it just wasn't good for me mentally. I wasn't there yet. And I'm even less there yet right now. So, Eileen. This is a book about Eileen, who is described as a disturbed young woman trapped between her role as her alcoholic father's caretaker and a day job as a secretary in a boys' prison. She spends a lot of her time shoplifting, stalking a prison guard named Randy, and then one day the prison hires a new counselor named Rebecca, and her new obsessive friendship with Rebecca pulls her into a very strange crime. So those are the two books that we'll be tackling this week. Definitely leaning more towards the literary horror / thriller side of things. The interesting thing about literary horror is that you just never know. You never know what you're going to get. Sometimes the authors just try and craft something that's super poetic and just meant to confuse you, but other times the authors will produce the most disturbing, nastiest words that you could string on a page. Things that I didn't even know you could put into books. Which one these are? We're going to find out together. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. So I'm about 60 pages in each of them, so let's do a little reading update. Sharp Objects. So at this stage, Camille has gone to her hometown and she's in the middle of investigating the murders. And we're seeing just how strained things are with her mother. Camille kind of sweeps into town with no warning. They haven't seen each other in person in years, and you're expecting some type of reunion. But no, Camille's mother isn't really the, "Oh, you're here" type of mom. She's more like the, "Oh, you're here." You know, the way that you would greet your best friend's boyfriend that you hate when he turns up to the party. That's it. And then there's Camille's half-sister, Amma. Amma? I think it's Amma. It's giving hoity-toity. Amma. Dunk that shoulder in there. Who Camille knows next to nothing about except for the fact that she's extremely bratty and she's very popular in the town. Watching Camille interact with her family, coupled with her investigation of these very gruesome murders of young girls, it makes for a very compelling read so far. Very few people in this town, Camille's family included, are trustworthy. It kind of gives the story a menacing feeling as you're reading. I know it's about to get dark and depraved. I just don't know how yet. But I'm always on the guard. So I'm reading and it'll say Camille and her mother had breakfast. And then I'm like, and then the mom shot her. And the book's like, what? No, bitch, they just had breakfast. I'm just always expecting the worst to unfold. But it's early, so I don't have too many solid thoughts on it yet, other than I'm excited, anxious to see what's gonna happen, and that there already has been a scene in here that made my hair stand up. There was a little slice of imagery about somebody in this town that just made me not want to close my eyes. So that's Sharp Objects. As for Eileen, we have even less information about this one. Rebecca has yet to make her entrance in the story. So a lot of what we've been reading so far is about Eileen herself. And Eileen is everything we thought she was going to be. She's tortured, she's disturbed, she's sad. Eileen just feels so helpless in her situation. She's desperate to be seen. She's desperate for something to happen to her, but she just feels so trapped in her current situation. It's a lot on how she just feels so lonely and gross, which Who among us? We already know that she's capable of some stuff. Like the fact that she spends a lot of her time stalking the bodyguard Randy. Like going and parking outside of his house stalking. So I mean, if you've ever felt weird for stalking your ex, as long as you haven't shown up to his house, you're like probably doing really good, bestie. That was just encouragement. That was not an endorsement. Hello! I do apologize if you can hear my dog tearing up his toy in the background. He sees me bust out the microphone and decides now's the time to do the loudest activity he can think of. But let's do some reading updates on our week of Unhinged Women. I don't know why that sounded so chipper. This stuff is actually very dark. So first we have Sharp Objects. We've gotten to about the halfway point. As far as the murder goes, Camille hasn't really made too much progress. She's spent a lot of time exploring the town, talking to the police, talking to the victims' relatives. But both she and the police just aren't making much headway. And so naturally, the town is in a really big panic. Most of the parents are keeping their young daughters like very close, right in eyesight, which I get, because if you are my child, I don't care how old you are. If they say that a serial killer is out there, I will clip your ass to me like a keychain. If they're gonna take you, they're gonna have to take me too. And they don't want to take me because I don't shut the hell up. But a lot of the book so far has also been about how Camille is now dealing with her family. And I need to say that her family makes me so angry in a very visceral, raw and real way. Like I read the way that they treat her and I feel the anger bubbling up inside of me. Like, do you know how mad a book has to make me where I'm lying down in the middle of the night trying to fall asleep and all that I can think of is I hate these bitches. I hate them so much. That's power. That's Gillian Flynn's power. It's the way that they treat her. Like, why do they treat her like that? And then because of that, I feel so protective of her. I hate watching her just sit there and take the bad treatment. Camille, I get that you have a sense of decorum and decency, but I don't. Tag me in, okay? I am for sure the devil on Camille's shoulder. Like, tell her about herself. Think of the worst thing you could possibly say and then just say it. Put that family member to bed for the rest of the day. Like, what kind of monster is Gillian Flynn turning me into? What did she put in this book? Next we have Eileen, which I'm a little less than halfway on this one. Okay, so the way that this book is structured, Eileen narrates the book and she tells you from the beginning that she leaves this town on a Friday. Something happens during the week, causing her to have to pack up and flee. And so she starts the story on the Friday before. Where I'm at now, we've gotten through the previous Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and we're about to start Tuesday. And I don't know, man, it's just been a lot of monologuing on Eileen's part, just a lot of talking about how difficult it is dealing with her alcoholic father, what it's like working at the boys' prison, how much she despises herself, things she wishes she could change about herself, which is fine, but I don't think it's really making me feel anything. And I don't even want to say that it's dragging because it's not. It's going by pretty quickly. There's just nothing happening. I don't know if my upstairs neighbor is playing musical chairs or having a stomp off with her boyfriend, but like this is crazy. Who do y'all have up there? Bigfoot? I don't know. It's just giving me nothing. I think that I'm just eager to get to the part or even just start to understand what strange crime that she gets involved in that makes her have to leave her hometown. And because it's written as though I'm having a conversation with Eileen, she's looking back years and years later and telling you about what happened. Like if we were face to face, I'd be like, girl, the inner workings of your mind are just not as flavorful as you think. If something happened to you on a Friday, you could start me on the Wednesday. I have something in the oven. I was supposed to be home 2 hours ago. And I mean, to be fair, we still have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday left. I'm just ready to get it started and find out what quote unquote very strange crime Eileen gets involved in. And it better be something good, not like robbing a bank. I'm gonna close the book, put it down, and maybe throw up a little bit. Show me what you got, oh Tessa. So I read another like 50 pages of Eileen, and we only have like... Do we have a problem? We only have like 70 pages left, and so I think we should just finish it, honestly. And it's not a case of us really trying to get it over with, because I feel like that's the terminology you use when a book is bad. And the book's not bad, it's just uneventful. Okay, wait, but let me amend all of this to say that it's only Wednesday in the book, and like the middle of Wednesday. I have no idea what type of crazy stuff is about to go down. We could be having this conversation, and then the next 30 minutes, I'm weeping. I don't know, which I'm kind of hoping for, because I titled this book about unhinged women, and nothing about this so far is really unhinged. Like, she's a disturbed young woman. That much we know. Disturbed is like the yellow tier, and most people are disturbed. It's 2023. If you're not disturbed, you have too much money. But I want this book to really reach the level of unhinged, so hopefully that's where we're heading. Where we're at right now, Eileen and Rebecca have built up a very, very tenuous friendship. Eileen is definitely obsessed with Rebecca, but we don't really know what Rebecca thinks of Eileen. They've hung out a couple times. They're supposed to hang out again tonight. And so now let's see where that goes. I can't play with your turtle. I gotta read some sick, nasty content. I'm sorry. Are you settled in? Are you ready? Okay, so I still don't have a sense of what's happening, but it's now Christmas Eve. It's Thursday. Of course, I'm not going to give anything away, but there have been these very strange things that Eileen has noticed over the span of the night. And now I'm starting to get that sense of dread, and I'm starting to get nervous. So I'm going to keep you guys with me while I read these next couple pages, because I'm scared. What does she, like, what is happening? There is something wrong here. There is something wrong here. I'm very uncomfortable. I'm deeply uncomfortable. Oh, it's incredibly sad. It just wasn't what I was expecting. We have to... Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh no. Let's get ready to see how this is gonna unfold. I also need to add that there is a massive trigger warning for this book. If you're someone who has triggers, I would definitely do a little bit of research, because the ending is pretty intense. So this is a mess. But not a good mess. Not the subject matter, but the way that this is all being carried out is so ridiculous. I have to finish it and really think about it, but I don't know if this is paying off. Reading that page was actually disgusting. This is horrific. You need to research some trigger warnings if you want to read this, because I actually don't want to read this anymore. I have like 10 pages left. I want this to be over. Like, I don't even know what's... Hey, so I'm fresh off a tiny little stress sesh because I'm going on a trip and space is obviously going to be limited, but where we're going, it's supposed to be cold. So then I have to pack sweaters, but then the sweaters are bulky, so then they don't fit in my bags the way that I want them to. And then I'm also allegedly an overpacker. Because you know when people go on trips, they pack too much underwear. Like if you're going on a trip for like 4 days, people bring like 15 pairs of underwear. And it's that old joke that you never know what's going to happen. That's how I am, but with everything. You never know what's going to happen. You could get caught in the rain. You could get caught in acid rain. Your outfits could band together, start a rebellion, and run away. Anything can happen. And my anxiety forbids me from being unprepared. I'm sorry. I don't love living this way, but it's my truth and I have to live it. That's all to say that it's solved now, but before it wasn't and I was stressed out. So to unwind, or probably just get even more stressed, to be honest, we're gonna finish Sharp Objects. Oh, and I will give you guys some solid thoughts on Eileen after I finish Sharp Objects, and then we'll just do the two together. We have about 70 pages. It's still hard to read. It's getting harder to read. And now we're gonna find out like what the conclusion to all of this is. So let me take a deep breath and let's do this. I just got chills. This book. It's not aggressive. Like, it doesn't try and do any hard thrills. It's kind of like a dreamy disturbing. It's more like this steadily rising dread. It's hard for me to describe, but I just feel so unsafe. I don't know how this is going to end or what the climax is even going to begin to look like. Okay, I guess let's dive back in. Camille, girl, I'm trying to stick beside you, but I'm laughing because I'm humiliated on her behalf. This is not good. I don't even want to finish this book. And it's not in the way that I felt about finishing Eileen, where it was more like, this is gross and I don't feel like I'm enjoying this anymore. I don't want to read this because it's just I just feel so unsettled. There's just something about it that I can feel underneath my skin. Everything just feels hazy and wrong, and I can't wait to just be out of this damn... Oh no. Gillian Flynn is sick in the head. Jesus. We are finished both books. I took some time to marinate on Sharp Objects, and let's have our final discussion. Eileen, it was not a bad book. It does take a little bit more for me to be interested in books that are primarily character driven. It's not impossible. There are plenty that I love, but it's just harder for me. And I can say that Eileen never dragged. Even if I wanted to know what was going on, even if I wanted the details of the very strange crime, it didn't drag. Mashag wrote Eileen's monologue in a way that made me feel fine with just sitting in her mind for long stretches of time. Okay, Dr. Seuss. But I felt fine being in her mind. I didn't feel any particular connection to Eileen. I didn't think that she was particularly unique. And the older Eileen does poke fun at the younger Eileen and say that, oh, young me thought I was so special and I wasn't. So it's self-aware. I just don't think that I got really anything out of Eileen. Especially recently, the self-loathing, slightly disturbed female monologue book, it's gotten more common, and I think that I've seen people do it more effectively. As for the ending, finding out what the crime was going to be was a shock. I will say that. But everything after that just steadily became more and more underwhelming. So ultimately, I gave it like 2.5 stars. I just found it to be, for lack of a better word, unnecessary. But again, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't a bad book. It just wasn't all that it built itself up to be. That's Eileen. Sharp Objects. There's a book. This one I'm not going to talk too deeply about because there's just so much good stuff in there that I want you to experience for yourself, but just a very painful, angry, but also dreamy atmosphere. I just felt so many emotions that you want to feel when you're reading books about unhinged women. Like, I feel like Gillian Flynn popped the hell off. And I think that was her debut. Her mind, for one person to have written Sharp Objects and then Gone Girl, she a little freak. Yeah, so Sharp Objects gets a very strong 4 stars from me. But that's it. I hope you enjoyed the reading vlog. I'm gonna go stop being dramatic and finish packing. But thank you so much for visiting Ashburg. We were so happy to have had you, and we hope to see you again very soon. Bye.